Good. So we have speaker, yeah, and maybe we'll do like this. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to our
Hello.
webinar. Hello, hello. Great to see you all here. Good. So today we are going to talk about how to become confident English speaker. All right. But before that, please tell me if you can hear me well, if you can see me, if everything is okay.
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, perfect, great. And just to know a little bit about each other, please write me in the chat where you're from, and maybe something about you. So you know what countries you came from. Okay, that would be interesting to know. Okay. All right, good. So we have Nikolai from Bulgaria. Good, that's interesting. Serbia, Ukraine, good. Zaporizhia, Turkey, Poland, good. Czechia, right? From Kiev. Oh, great. It's lovely to see you all here. Good. Fantastic. All right. So today we from Czech Republic, good. Romania, Switzerland. Wow, Serbia. That's awesome. Lovely to see you all here today. All right, so you know probably a little bit about me. You can read more on LinkedIn. I'm Hannah Redil, and I'm English communication coach for pharma professionals. I started my journey around 2 years ago, so it's the time where I started focusing just on pharma industry and helping pharma professionals. Maybe I would need to have assistant to let people come in to the webinar or do something with that. All right, but I hope that people will join, and then it will be convenient and we can speak smoothly. Okay, good. Great. So we have people from different countries all around the world. And today we'll talk about how to become really confident speaker. As I told you before, we have a guest, Katarina, and she also will share with you some secrets, some communication tips, secrets. So learning a language, learning to become confident and great, to have great speaking skills, you have to know language, right? You have to know words, phrases, etc. to be really good. To have, in other words, tools, right? So you definitely need to have tools to communicate. Okay, all right. After that, you need to learn how to operate with these tools. How to create something great, some masterpiece with that. And that is where Katarina will share with you some secrets how to do it. But before we go to that, and before Katarina will share you her story, I'd like to talk a bit more about what, from the language perspective, what are the things we all need to know and focus. Okay, all right, one moment. There is also somebody joining here. So first of all, before started anything, You need to think, what do you want to work on? What are your problems? Without knowing your problems and what you want to improve, it will be difficult to move anywhere. It might be not perfect plan, but just some draft it must be, because you will feel lost. And as you know, first after, let's say, not very good meeting where you had to speak up, you may feel not well, and you're really determined to learn the language, to learn English and to be better speaker or to communicate better. Or you might see someone who's speaking really well and you have that desire to learn. But as you know, that excitement, our brain can be in that state for a very long time. So it will be time that desire will go down and you won't feel that excited because you will be overloaded. But once you have plan and understanding the process, you will more likely reach your destination. All right, so it's important to have a plan, but what kind of plan depending on your stage? As I told you before, first things that you need to work on, that is language, all right? So what is language? Vocabulary. You need to constantly work on your vocabulary, extending it. First, probably you have some course book or a teacher who will help you on that journey to learn some simple words, simple structures, so you know how to ask, how to clarify, so really basic things. Once you know the vocabulary pretty well and you can communicate, you might need to know some specific vocabulary, let's say your industry vocabulary, and also business vocabulary, because you need to communicate with your colleagues, supervisors, and it's just requirements. You have to know how to be polite, how to express yourself clearly. So this is business vocabulary. Next step, you also need to know grammar. Maybe not know, it's not enough to know, but be able to use it at really good level. So you structure your sentences in a very clear way. At first, it would be enough to know the basic, but later on, once you want to be really good and advance your language, you might need to know also conditionals and let's say different tenses, or how to use articles, prepositions. And at later stage, you know, native speakers often use some phrasal verbs, idiomatic expressions. Probably in your language, you are more familiar with them, but in English, they use different expressions, and sometimes it's hard to understand what they're talking about. You might understand all the words separately, but can't get the meaning at all. So this is the highest stage. You may need to focus on understanding some expressions they often use. But once you work in, let's say, international pharmaceutical company, this is essential to know phrases and language that is used in business world. So this is literally standard language. What is standard language? That is language used, let's say, on TV or people used to communicate in different organizations. We can also differentiate, let's say, formal language and informal. And both styles of communication are good even in the company, but later on we would need to understand when we should be more formal or less formal. Being formal will show you as a high professional, and once you use less formal words, it helps you to build relationship with people. All right, so this is grammar. Another very, very important thing is pronunciation. Probably in your language, you don't have sounds that are in English, and you really spend some time to practice the sounds you are not familiar, you need to underline the words, the letters, just to practice pronunciation. You don't have to sound like native speaker at all, but to pronounce clearly words and phrases. You need also to stress words in a correct way. Probably in your language, you have one pronunciation, you stress the word in one word, and it's very familiar to you. Let's say the word politics and politicians, right? So very different stress. So you have to learn how to stress words. Sometimes American and British pronunciation may differ, so you have to learn it as well. All right. Please let me know if you can hear me, because Katarina is writing that she can't hear me. Well,
we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Then probably, Katarina, you need to leave the meeting and join it again, just to make sure you connect with the audio of your device. Okay, so somebody can hear me well. Please let me know who is on Facebook, if you can hear me from there, from our group. Okay, so somebody can hear me well. And others. So sometimes on Zoom may happen these issues. So you may need to leave the meeting and join it again, or just check your settings, because once some people may hear me well, that means on my side it's okay. So need to find out what else to do. Okay, all right. So this is the language. Now we know that we have the tools. We need to learn how to operate them. Well, okay, somebody can't hear me well. So is it like you can't hear me at all, or just very quiet?
I hear you. Excellent. It's really okay, the sound.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right. So you will also be able to watch the recording in Facebook group once you can hear me properly. Okay. So next thing is, let's say, what you have to know is cultural awareness. You know, sometimes people from different countries may join the meetings, and it might be a real problem sometimes, yeah, or misunderstanding. And you may need just to know of this, yeah. You may need to know that it might happen. It might be a bit different. It might need, okay, thank you. I see that somebody connected one more time. Great. All right, so soft skills, I added to this thing like soft skills. It's like being soft and kind to people, so you have very smooth communication. All right, and later on Katarina can tell you more about that. And also leadership skills, might need presentation skills, writing skills, etc. So actually lots of skills. I'll continue later, but now I would like really to invite Katarina to speak. So Katarina, could you please share your story with you? I know you have very interesting story to share with us.
Well, I don't have a screen to share, but I will share my story, or just one story. Hello, everybody. First of all, it is so good to be here. I think that pandemics brought us some good things also. It's always like this in life. There are good things and there are bad things coming along. And good things, a good thing is that we can meet like this. People from different countries, we can share experiences and ideas, make new connections, and maybe some new businesses, who knows. And this is so nice to meet you and have you all here. First of all, I want to thank Hannah for such a kind introduction. I work in pharma business for more than 19 years, almost 20 years in pharma business. I work in sales. I have enormous experience in sales. And what I have in my experience, I always had coaching and mentoring from people who were not salespeople. So it is good you have some knowledges that you can use, some experience that you can use, but you don't have an actual field experience from the people. And that is what I promote in my coaching, and that is where I find my clients in that area, because I have something different to offer to them. But enough about me. I work also as a lecturer on a university. So if there is somebody of my students here, I say hi. If not, maybe we will share some other experiences. Hannah, thank you also for this invitation to this event. Thank you for sharing your time with me. You
It's
gave
my
people,
pleasure as well.
yeah,
Thank you for coming.
you reminded me for so much important stuff in English, and this is really, really important, and we can never stop learning. No matter how good we are in our language, in our expression, no matter how good are we in sales and negotiation, we can always learn something more. That is my idea, and I think that we can never stop learning. Okay, I will start this my part of the session, my short session today, with one story. And this is also an exercise for you today, for communication exercise. And you should listen to me very carefully. And at the very end of this webinar, I will ask you one question from this story. So you have to leave everything now, listen carefully. It will just be a short story and one question afterwards. So let's go. This is a story about the bus ride. If someone please is familiar with this story, please don't say the answer. Let other people try this experience. One happy bus starts its first morning drive. You are the bus driver. And at the first stop, older couple enters the bus. The older man is holding his lady, he's hugging her, they are chit-chatting, it's early in the morning, and they sit just behind the bus driver. On the next stop, young mother of two enters the bus. She is holding her baby boy for his hand, and there is another baby girl in the strollers looking around the bus. And afterwards, the bus comes to the third stop, and there is where the young group of people hops on. They are in five. They are going back home from night out, and they are in very good mood, laughing and having very good time. And behind them enters a business woman who is going on her work. The next stop is the last stop, so everyone is getting off, ready for the new day. So now the question: how was your day? Hannah, how was your day?
It was great.
No, this is not the question for the story. It would be too easy. This is just to check if you're ready for some new information. Okay, is everybody here from the pharma business? I don't know if Hannah has this information, or more or less.
We may ask, yeah. So
But
please let us know what company, pharma company,
important.
type of company do you work?
It's just if we are all from pharmaceutical business, because the communication and negotiation and sales as well is very specific in pharmaceutical business, because we promote and sell pharmaceuticals, medicinal products, medical devices, and other necessities for patients. And this is very moral part of the question, and very specific for that. And there is also some legal responsibility. You can't merchandise, you can't marketing your products if you have medicinal products, like you marketing Coca-Cola or something like that, or communicate like insurance. It's a bit different because of this moral part and because of legal part, which is specific for pharmaceutical business. That's why I'm asking. And where can you find space to generate more success in pharmaceutical business? What makes this different between good and great? Good sales rep, good medical rep, good negotiator, or excellent one? Is somebody going to share his thought or her thoughts? Okay, the difference is you're actively listening to me. That's why you're not speaking. It's active listening, and it is not just listening. Let me give you an example. Is if somebody of you practice some sport, hiking, running, or some other sport. What I mean is that moment when you start going uphill and it becomes demanding, or when you start to run faster, what happens? You stop talking and you focus on surrounding. You become an active component of this moment. And this is exactly what you should do during your business meeting. Hannah, it was really brilliant start, and you have to have a plan. You have to be prepared for your business meeting. You have to have plan what you want to do on your meeting, but you have to listen to your partner in communication, your business partner, and you have to stop talking and start listening. There is an old saying which says that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth to speak less and listen more. And this is really true in sales and in negotiation. And what's the difference between careful listening? You're listening to somebody, but you're not actively listening. And the difference is that you show true interest. You show empathy for your client, for your business partner. And then what it happens is that you're going to build relationship. Hannah also mentioned it. Not just make one successful negotiation or sale, you make relationship and you make it for a long-lasting one. So you have a business partner who will do business with you some other time, next time, and over again. Okay. Now I leave the Hannah to finish this webinar, and I will ask you the question about my story at the end.
Okay, and well, what was the question, Katarina?
No, the question comes at the end.
Okay, so
about
the
my
question
story.
that's interesting. All right.
The end.
Good.
So please don't leave before the end if you want to see the question. Hear the question.
That will be very, very interesting just to check how well you listen to Katarina. And just reading the chart to see what companies people came from. So we can see from Novartis, Sandoz, and we have from regulatory and market access, regulatory, then CRA, Clinical Trust, Sinews Health, Opera Company. Okay, great. So different companies, different departments, and I would say we need to negotiate all the time, and not only once you work in sales. You need to communicate, and on everyday basis you need to have good listening skills and listen to people well, listen to attentively, just to know their problems. Any department, just to communicate with the team. So you're absolutely right. Thank you so much, Katarina.
Thank you for sharing your time with me.
Later on, you will tell us your question, and you'll see how attentive we are. Okay, so I'll tell you that Katarina shared with me that question, and it was really unexpected, but hopefully you're more attentive and you will know the answer and the question as well at the end. So as I said, that's very important to focus on problems that you have, but sometimes you just don't understand what's the problem. You know the language and you can communicate. You may even work in international company. You have everyday conversation, but still feel like something is missing. You're not convincing enough, maybe sometimes, or people often ask you to repeat and clarify, and this makes you feel awkward, and you think that might be a problem, you're not clear enough. So it makes sense to understand what's your problem and what kind of things you need to work on. And after building a plan of your development, so you might do it on your own or ask someone else. You may ask a teacher or a coach, somebody you trust, or you even supervisor or someone who is really good at language, just to share some feedback, what kind of things you would need to work on if you trust that person. And after that, you need to stick to that plan. Of course, you may change it a little bit, but it's so essential that you understand. Once you have that excitement, it will not last for long. And maybe later you will not want that much to improve at the moment. You will move it for later time. But the truth is, we are always busy and we never have enough of time. Okay, so we have Nikolai, and he is working in Croatia. So probably, Katarina, you know each other somehow, yeah? So you are...
No, I don't know him by his name, but
Okay,
maybe
it's
we
not
can meet.
enough just to hear name. All right, so maybe, by the way, at the end of the meeting, I'll share the email of Katerina, and if you want to ask her about negotiation, sales skills, so she's really good at that. She can advise you.
Or we can just drink coffee.
Maybe some drink, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not only coffee.
Share experiences.
Yeah, all right. So that is how business, how people do business. Yeah, they just communicate, they find some common grounds and see how they can be helpful to each other. All right, so let's continue a bit with that presentation. So once you know the language and you can communicate, then you might need to understand what's your problem and work some language. But what if you have, let's say, a meeting tomorrow or next week? There is no time to polish your language. So what you can do, you may just focus on one task that you have. So first thing, you need to consider, who do you want to communicate? Who is that person? How much do you know about him or her or about them? Is it possible to research, find out, ask your colleagues about that person? Let's say if that's a doctor or somebody already contacted that person. I know that people in the clinical trials are really afraid and feel nervous when they have to talk to the sponsor. So it makes sense really just to find out what kind of person it is, what kind of communication that person prefer. And it will help you a bit, so you'll feel like, oh, you know a little bit about the person. And once the person will show up to you, it would be easier just to listen and remember everything about the person, because you'll know partly parts of the story, and you can just focus really on important things, right? Next thing is to understand the goal. Why do you need to communicate? What the purpose? Is it just to clarify things, to show your great work, to convince that your products are really great? We just agree about purchasing, I don't know, equipment or any other things that you need at work. So what's the goal? Why you're there? Just think. This is the way how you can really prepare for that meeting. So you are more familiar with that. It's not like something unexpected. Once you're ready, and your brain will change that and will give you more, let's say you'll still be nervous, but not as much, because you know a little bit about that and you are prepared. So if you focus another thing on the goal, not on yourself and how you feel, this is another secret of success. So your brain is not anymore worrying about how you look, how you feel, and what you say, but rather to why you are there, what you have to do, how to communicate with that person. And of course, what are you going to communicate? Another thing is how, all right? So when it's one-to-one meeting, you might imagine that situation and even practice speaking loud your speech. How would you respond? So speaking out, repeating some sentences, will you can practice your tone of voice, the speed of your voice. So during the meeting, you'll not speak very quickly, because once you speak very quickly, yeah, and you can see now I have problems with pronunciation, so I need to work on that as well. So once you repeat a certain phrase more and more times, you get used to this, you get used to your voice and to the natural speed of speaking. Why it's not a good idea to speak very quickly? What do you think? Would you like to speak really quickly, really fast? Do you want that? Sometimes people just came to me and say, I want to learn to speak very quickly. So should you speak quickly? All right, so
Better not.
rather not, yeah.
Yeah, that's the problem, one of the problem in communication, because if you speak quickly, people maybe don't understand you very well, and they miss your point, or they can't understand what you are saying. They can't check with you. If you speak quickly, you don't give them a place and space to ask you something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So we need some time to digest the information. Some people can do it quicker, others slower. So it's good when you speak at natural speed and still make sure you make pauses.
So somebody can ask you something.
Yeah, ask something. So
Yeah.
I just also need to pause and let me know if you have questions. If everything is clear, do you have any questions? And maybe you can write in the chat, or even just unmute your microphone and tell us about your problems. What is challenging for you in particular? Is it just language, or maybe you need to focus on other things, like you speaking too quickly or slowly, or you just don't know? Well, we really need to work on our listening skills, right? So it's not just being a passive listener, but rather listen actively, just to make sure we didn't miss important information, and still encourage person to speak, asking the questions here, which leads to our desirable answer. So
this is also very important. Until somebody speaks up, this is also one very important thing in communication, having a feedback. Because without a feedback, if we don't ask people what did they understood us and what they think about that, we only make assumptions. And assumption is very, very slippery thing in negotiation and sales, because something that it's normal to you, something that it's very understandable to you, may not be like that to other person. And if you don't got your feedback, what person is really thinking, or maybe want to ask you something because you speak too fast, as Hannah said, or you give that look that you don't need some answers. That's the problem. You need feedback always in communications, if people have if they understand you properly.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have to listen to them, yeah, and make sure that you are clear at the same time. Yeah, that's important. And sometimes people are afraid of making mistakes and afraid of asking feedback. But this is the only way how we can be better. Just understand what we do wrong and what are things we need to work on. Because if we do everything, let's say, good or bad, and we don't know, we never ask, how we can make sure that we grow and we become better. As you know, the world is changing constantly, and we need just to be in time. Yeah, we have to go in hand with all novelties that come, and that's why we need to learn. But just to understand what to learn, learn only things that you need to your personal success. If you work in sales, yeah, then definitely need to focus on negotiation skills, let's say. If you work in other departments, or you need to share some presentation oftentimes, yeah, you may need to work on your presentation skills. If you are a team leader, then makes sense to work on your leadership skills, just to make sure you have good communication with your team. Am I right?
Yeah, but we all have to have negotiation skills. It starts early in the morning with your kids, with your husband, with your partner, what to wear, what to eat, who's going first to the bathroom, and then the day starts.
Yeah, yes.
So we negotiate all the time. No matter what job, what is our profession, what we do, we negotiate all the time, every day.
All right, yeah. And let me ask you how good you are at negotiations. Could you please let us in the chat, let's say, put a plus if you really good and you love negotiating, you love talking to people and convincing them to do something for you?
What is challenging, as you said?
Yeah.
For me, the most challenging thing in communication with my business partners is when they speak, as you said, quickly, especially when you talk with them over the phone, then it's really demanding, and they don't stop. They speak quickly, or they speak with a low voice, so you really can't hear them well, especially over the phone. And for me, that's the most demanding stuff, because it's hard to understand people who are communicating like that.
Yeah, and when it's happened that you have to talk with such a person over the phone and you don't understand, what should we do?
Ask questions.
In this case, ask questions.
Ask
So
questions.
clarify, and yeah, also
Yeah.
time. Just make sure we understand
We
it.
understand
Right.
correctly in a nice way. Yeah. It's for me, it's really a legitimate thing to do.
All right, yeah. And you know what is the most challenging for me? That's meeting new people. So I always have some nervousness, you know, once I have to meet, let's say, somebody first time, and I know very little about that person, and I'm very nervous. Or I have a group of people, and this is the first time of the meeting. I don't know what to expect. So I might feel nervous. And at this stage, I think it's important to understand that lots of people feel like this. So it's okay, it's normal, and just expect and understand that it's not possible to remove it at all. Maybe it's not bad, yeah, to feel sometime that you are excited. Yeah, we may turn
Positive.
more, we can turn our, let's say, negative feelings to positive, because excitement is like more positive feeling. You're excited about helping people, serving them. I would say people who work in pharma industry, they should have really good motivation to work, because you have really great mission in the world. You help people to be healthy, to be better. And it's great. That's the reason I've decided to switch from general course, from business course, to more pharma industry, because really I can learn a lot about how it all works. And at first I needed to work really a lot because I didn't understand all the processes just to help my students. But once I dig more and learn more, and now I feel more confident because I understand how it all works. And the same is for everyone who wants to be a good speaker. If you just understand the processes, understand what is going on with your brain, why you feel this or these emotions, and then you understand how to handle them and how to work on that. All right, good. So let's continue. What else matters. You need also to focus on some possible reservations that people might have, and just to think about that. This is in short, but actually to be really good at that, you have to work, do your work every time, rehearsal and practice. So this is in short about communication skills. But another important issue is written communication. So please let me know if anybody of you think what is more important, speaking or written skills? Have good speaking or written skills?
Both, maybe. Both.
Okay. Yeah, some people need more writing. Yeah, they say, oh, I speak very little, only once a time when we have, okay, both. Yes, it's essential to have good written skills. And when we focus on writing, what matters, it's not only spelling and grammar, but being clear, being concise, and more importantly, being polite, because we don't see emotions. We might think, should I add this smiley face just to show that I am a positive one? Or it may sound like I'm laughing from something, or I'm not serious. So you have always doubt considering what to do. But sometimes people write too much to show that they are real professionals, or use sometimes really advanced vocabulary, which my others don't know. It may cause really problems with understanding for others. So it's not good for you either. So for me, it's better to simplify your language just to make sure you deliver the right things you want in your communication. All right, so what is challenging regarding writing? So once you have to write emails, yeah, you may need to learn about that. Another thing, what to do if people have to write or fill reports or protocols. Once you have some templates, it's easier. But still, you need to know the vocabulary and understanding the language, what the language should you use. And next thing is for people who need to record minutes, or when you are a chair of the meeting, you need to develop agenda and maybe set action points. And so on. It might be something else. What else might be challenging for you regarding writing? Another way to practice your skills is speaking more, speaking up. And you might need to have the courage to speak up. So if you feel courage enough, brave enough to speak up, please share your thoughts. Just unmute your microphone. It will be more interesting for us and for you as well.
You have to know maybe a phrase which use in sentences in different situations, like how to answer, how to ask some questions, and be polite.
All right, yeah. It's important to choose right tone of your letters. Good. Avoid making lots of mistakes. That's true. How you can check if you don't have mistakes, just to make sure that you don't have any mistakes in your letter or email or report. You may use some
With
programs.
autocorrect, maybe you put language English and we know which words is wrong, and it's easier written than speak, because when I speak English, if I don't remember some words, I blocked, and I really try to find another word, maybe simple words, and this is my problem. I blocked, and I speak quickly, too fast in my original language, and I have problem when I speak English because I don't speak English fast.
And what's your native language, may I ask?
Croatian language, like Katarina, and from Croatia.
Okay, nice to meet you. Well, yes, sometimes it's good strategy to simplify or paraphrase once you feel stuck and don't remember the vocabulary. And it's good strategy because sometimes it may happen even when you have native language and you speak a lot, but you feel a bit tired and you might don't remember exact word. So you just need to paraphrase and explain it in other words. So it's very good skill, knowing how to paraphrase. But once you feel that you don't know this word, or you see that in general, you have lack of some vocabulary or phrases, you really don't know how to structure, it makes sense to focus on that, how to ask questions the right way, or what vocabulary is missing. Maybe you might need to read some more articles or listen to others people talking, and just make sure that you paying attention to new vocabulary, just to understand it all, just a little piece, and step by step you will be better. Right? Don't choose to watch movies or films once your English is not good and you're not fluent, because it will take you lots of time, but you really can't understand and can't learn from long movie, and it's exhausting. Just watch a long time and don't feel progress. So yeah, you have to learn the language, but also learn to speak. It's another skill. You need to develop it. And when you don't speak enough, how you can make sure that you will be good at that? Let's say if you learn to drive a car or a bicycle, yeah, and just to be good at that, you need to do it regularly. It's not just enough to learn how to do it, but really develop skill. Well,
Practice.
yeah, all right. So practicing anything, once you need to practice it to develop skill. And at this point, I'd like to focus on skill. How easy or difficult is it to change your habit? And because it's really changing your habit, developing new habit. And I read about that a lot, and it's actually not easy. That's why lots of people give up learning language, because it's hard to break the skill. It's like you smoke and it's difficult. You understand it's harmful for you and you want to give up, but you can't do it. It's not easy. The same is here. So you have to be really motivated and understand that at some point you need to encourage yourself, remind why you do this, why do you want it, why that's important for you to learn English. Just imagine your future success. How does it feel when you're really great and fluent? So at the moment, let's say you built a plan, even you scheduled all the tasks, all the meetings with your teacher, but you feel like you don't want to learn, you don't want to go to the classes with the teacher, you don't feel like you want to continue that, you don't have willpower. And at some point, even you doubt if you study right things, if maybe teacher using the right methods, you have lots of doubts, and you may even stop that journey, okay? The same is, for example, if you want to eat healthy, and that's all, you ordered healthy foods, you're really determined to change your lifestyle. And at first, probably day 2 or 3, you feel okay. But later, it's really hard. It's like everyone is eating, enjoying their life, but you don't. And after a while, you even forget what you wanted. So how not to give up? First, I said is imagine your future you. How it feels. So at the worst moments when you don't want to do the task, don't want to repeat or visit classes with your teacher, you have to remind yourself what for is that all. Imagine, you have to imagine that great situation at the same time the worst one, because sometimes negative experience may also encourage us. Imagine the situation when we felt awkward. Let's say I'm fat and I can't wear my favorite dress and I will determined to change my life, and it might push me because yeah, it's my motivation because I want that dress, or I want to speak really great and convincing at that meeting. So this is my goal. I don't want to feel nervous. I don't want to feel anxiety all the time. That's my motivation. So all the time you need to encourage yourself, your brain, to work on things you need for the future success. All right, so this is in short what you can do and how you can change that. Now I'll tell you a bit about my course and how I help my students. So if that's interesting for you, you may stay a bit longer, but remember that also is Katarina here, and she has a question for you. And so it won't take you long, but maybe you can hear something interesting and you can improve your English. So at first, I'd like to tell you about my short course, short group course, which is really great start, because for every day you'll have really a good small task, let's say for 15-20 minutes, and additional task once you have more availability to stay a bit longer to learn the language. So it's ideal for people who are busy at work, and it's great for developing skills because it won't feel you exhausted. At the same time, you improving your skills. So what is in the course? Once you, let's say, sign up for the course, you will get the access to the course materials on the site. It will look like that. All right, so this is the 21-day challenge course materials. At first, there is welcome video and schedule, how it all works, and all the meetings that we're going to have. As you can see, we have meetings on Tuesday at 8 p.m. My time, Kyiv time, and for others you may need to use you can see here is time converter application. So you will see once you sign up, you can put there your location and you can see what time is it for you. All right, and apparently we have meetings on Saturday for people who can't join on Tuesday or just want additional practice, want to meet other people, communicate with them, ask questions. So this is like a meeting. Tuesday meetings will be recorded, but Saturday meetings not. So you may just relax and enjoy a conversation and really practice your English with others. Next, we have for every day, we have tasks, small tasks, how it will look like. For example, day 1, we'll focus on pharma vocabulary. And this is really, you can see short video, explanation usually 1-2 minutes, and you can practice with vocabulary. So first week, we focus on pharma-related vocabulary. Second week, we focus on developing skills, how to build trust, you can see strategies, how to start a conversation, your listening skills, meeting language, etc. Week 3 is about writing, have to be polite, have to be concise, and lots of other great things. By the way, there are also lots of bonuses and prizes for people just to encourage you, because I understand that it might be challenging, not easy for you. So I want to motivate you to do your job really well. Do you have any questions? Would you like to ask me something, or Katarina?
Can ask you something.
Yeah.
But you have to answer.
Hanna, my name is Svetlana Yakumenko, and I participated in your course. Thank you so much. It was really helpful for me, and thank you for this really great meeting. And thank you, Katerina. It was really great. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Svetlana. It's really a pleasure that you decided to join us today.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's great to see you here. Thank you so much for your feedback. That's important to understand, that we do something great and we help you as well. Yeah, and we'll be better and better. All right, good.
Sorry, I don't understand. Maybe this is for free course, but or it exists some price. I didn't see about this course. I joined first time.
Okay, thank you for your question. So I'll send you the link to, it's not free. The reason is not free because people are not motivated enough once they pay nothing. So you can read more about just need to do some settings. So this is the link to my to that 21. So if you need anything specific or really motivated to work on your skills, reach out to me. If you registered here, you can email me. So lots of ways to contact me. So this challenge for now, just for people who joined here today, and probably you'll have half an hour. If you're really interested, you can join the course for just $59. So I'm leaving the link here. So if you're really interested, please join. Welcome. That would be really interesting and useful. By the way, if you join and you see that it's not for you, you'll get your money back. So you won't lose anything, just to make sure that you learn really things that make you feel successful.
Thanks.
All right, so you have the link. You may just click there, and if you are interested in that. Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So it looks like I told you everything. Now I'd like to give a word to Katarina.
Well, I
And
think your course looks great. It's really professional. I'm learning a lot from Hannah.
yes,
And I have a question from my story. And the question is, what is the color of the eyes of the bus driver?
mhm.
Can anyone say? You don't have to write, just put your microphone on and say.
Blue eyes.
Why?
I don't know. I suppose.
Somebody wrote in the chat right answer.
Yeah, we are the driver. I'm the driver. You're the driver.
Yes, all right. So we
It's
are
the
the
color of your eyes. Yeah.
good. Excellent. Thank you. That was really interesting.
I don't know the name. I just see Jurovic. I don't know the name of the someone who wrote. So thank you. This is the answer, and you can speak up also. And
Hello, it's Sara here
hello.
from Serbia. Good question.
Yeah, it's you can make it longer story if you have somebody to tell it to, and you can make it longer so people are paying attention on details and
Yes.
stuff. And
Good
once time on my classes, and the students said, "But you didn't say that. That's the thing you didn't say. You say black, brown stuff." And
Well, I was listening.
yeah.
You were very
Thank
attentive.
you.
Yeah.
You were attentive, yeah.
Good. Great. So is there anyone else who wanted to ask anything? Me or Katerina? Okay, so maybe Katerina, can you type your email if possible here in the
Okay.
chat? So
I'm
people
typing.
could contact you later.
Okay, it's
So
here.
they can just write you and
Share
you can
experience and
with them,
thoughts.
yeah, or share their problems. Okay, all right, great. It's so interesting to meet people and talk to them, people from different countries. They might have different challenges, but at the same time, they have lots of things in common. So that's great to communicate with each other and share experiences. Great. So thanks everyone for coming to our webinar. It was really great to see you, and thank you, Katerina, for joining us and sharing your stories, your expertise. So that's so important for us to have good listening skills, great negotiating skills, and we can really develop that if we work on that every day. So just learn a language, have a tool, and then learn how to operate with them to create some masterpiece.
It was great, Hannah. Thank you for inviting me once more. Thank you, everybody, for being part of this webinar to share your time with us, share your questions and thoughts, and have a good night. Enjoy soon. It's weekend. Enjoy the weekend, and see you soon someplace else.
Yeah, maybe we can see somehow, yeah, next webinar or other places. You never know. Yeah. Great.
Wish you all good luck.
Yeah, good luck, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you for your energy and for great webinar. Thank you.
Oh, it's a
Thank you
pleasure.
so much. Have a nice evening.
Have a nice evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Enjoy all.
Have a nice evening. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.